Hi, good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Noura Al-Mazroui. I'm the Director of Future Borders Department from the General Directorate of Identity and Foreigners Affairs in Dubai. I'm actually focusing on the projects at the airport sector. So today, I'd like to give you a brief information about our roadmap of improvements in the airport. So I'm going to give you about the innovative services towards seamless travel at Dubai International Airport. So going to the start of some of the innovative services that we have implemented the electronic gates in 2002. So basically, passengers had to pay a small fee to get an e-card to use the smart gates. But basically, the number of users wasn't much. So later on, in 2013, we implemented the first generation smart gates. Those gates were a bit different. Passengers used different documentation, such as passport, Emirates ID, as well as the electronic e-gates. However, those gates were a bit designed differently, a bit bulk, and they were only implemented in Terminal 3 arrival. For us to improve our services, we actually worked for a couple of years to implement a pre-clearance center. As you can see, the pre-clearance center checks the information for passengers while they come, entry or exit through Dubai airport 72 hours before they come to the airport. The pre-clearance center, we focused on checking the data. So as you can see, since we implemented it in 2015 until this year, we actually have 95% of the data automated, which is 593 million transactions. And the number of manual transactions that our officers do it at the back office in the pre-clearance center is 49 million transactions. Having the pre-clearance gave us a great advantage because we were able to implement the projects, and until date, we have improved the services. So for example, passengers normally took around 30 seconds at the immigration counter. While implementing the pre-clearance, we were able to reduce it to less than 10 seconds at the counters. This also gave us an opportunity to implement new smart gates, new services, which actually increased the throughput at passport control, and we were able to increase the number of passengers using the services as well. As you can see, in 2016, we implemented a prototype in Terminal 1 arrival. But for the success of the smart gates, this prototype was tested on passengers. And the feedback that we got from passengers to actually improve the service, improve the user interface in the smart gate, as well as the collaboration with our partners at Dubai airports, we were able to get the feedback even in terms of the product design, what passengers gave us, and we were able to implement the new smart gates. As you can see, the current smart gates at Dubai airports are the one as the image shown below. We activated these smart gates in 2017. So we had around 127 smart gates across all terminals, and we're also increasing it at the moment. From that time until 2018, we were able to work closely with Dubai airports to provide the guest experience ambassadors team from their side to be provided before the smart gates area. That gave a great advantage to actually explain to passengers what they're supposed to do, as well as we did a lot of improvements for the user interface, as you can see in these images. In 2018, we implemented the Smart Tunnel, which was the first of its kind around the world. Once we implemented it, passengers' expectations were different. It provided a disruptive innovation, a fast and non-stop process, and they didn't need to use any documentation. So as you can see, we had around 216.8 million views once we launched the service. And those are some feedbacks, testimonials from some of the passengers who actually first used the Smart Tunnel. So as you can see, it's in different languages, in Mandarin, English, and Arabic, as well as noting disruptive innovation, DXB leading the way to digitalization and facial recognition. So after actually implementing the service, the needs of passengers increased. So we had a lot of comments from our strategic partners as well as passengers as to when are we going to implement the same service in other terminals and for other passengers, because this service is provided in the first and business class in Terminal 3 departure. To succeed with that, In 2018 until 2019, we implemented the new cameras at all immigration counters in arrival and departure. This enabled us to actually implement the mandatory biometric data registration in 2020, as well as we worked closely with Emirates to actually provide an indicator on the boarding pass, as you can see in the second image. That indicator showed if a passenger can actually use the smart tunnel or the smart gate. So it increased the efficiency in immigration touchpoint, as well as it enhanced the operation in terms of directing the passengers to the right service that they need. So in 2021, during COVID, our teams worked closely. And prior to COVID, we had an enhancement. And once we had the COVID pandemic, we were able to implement the seamless travel for passengers, providing them a similar service that was provided at the tunnel, but at the current gates, and making sure that we're using the same gates that we actually have at the moment. The smart gates focuses on iris biometric, so that's the difference with the gates, as well as the officers previously used to monitor 2 gates at a time, but now they monitor 5 gates for one immigration officer. The average process time for the smart gate is around 12.5, and we achieved 98% in happiness. And as you can see, in 2017, the 5.6 million indicates when we actually implemented the Emirates ID on the smart gates. So once we implemented the Emirates ID, that actually increased it to 5.5 million, and we tried to change the behavior of passengers to use the electronic services at immigration touchpoint. And as you can see, the numbers went down during the COVID, which is between 2020 and 2021, but passengers' behaviors were different. Because of the pandemic, passengers didn't want anyone to touch their passport, they didn't want to touch the gate itself, and during that time, we actually stopped the Emirates ID, so passengers didn't need to even use their fingerprint while using the service, and we were able to provide the seamless service. So as you can see, after implementing it, the numbers increased to 13 and 25 million in 2024. And having the seamless service also increased the number of seamless passengers using the smart gate without any documents. So passengers actually went into the smart gate without any documents, just looking at the camera, and they would proceed. While working with our strategic partners, we also implemented the free flow smart tunnel in collaboration with Dubai Airports and Emirates. The tunnel structure was a bit different. It had an avatar, and it showed the passenger that they can actually have a full seamless journey once they enter the airport until the boarding gate with Emirates. That was at a POC phase. And as you have heard in the news now, we've implemented the borderless travel. So what's the difference between the borderless travel and the smart tunnel? The borderless travel doesn't have any structure on the sides. It has more cameras, as you can see, and it focuses on facial recognition. So facial biometric provides a faster service for passengers, especially at the site at the moment. And the difference between this type of service and the old tunnel is that previously we used to have one person passing through the tunnel. But with this service, we actually have 5 to 10 passengers passing one after the other at the same time. And even the process time on this tunnel, on this borderless travel, is less than 5 seconds. So as you can see, there's a big difference in the service. And as we can see, once we first launched the previous smart tunnel in 2018, the numbers increased. And as you can see, in 2021, during COVID, the number jumped to 130,000. That was the effect and the difference that passengers had because they didn't want to use the documentation. So passing through the smart tunnel, if they have the registration, then they can actually use the tunnel without any documentation. So even the behavior of passengers were different during COVID. And it gave us the advantage with Dubai Airports team to actually educate passengers during that time. So as you can see, after that, the numbers also increased. And in 2025, the numbers jumped from January until June this year. The numbers reached to 141,000 passengers. So that's actually more than the duration during COVID. We received more than 40 delegations, international and local delegations, all having the advantages of looking at our services, but they all asked one question: how did you achieve such successful projects? How did you accomplish it? How did you work with your teams? It's right that we have a good leadership. We have an excellent team on ground in operations and in our command centers as well. But the main key is that we have a great team, which is our strategic partners. And to reach the one goal, to reach as Dubai as number one and the United Arab Emirates, is to work as one team. And the success of working one team and good communication, we were able to reach to the success. So we actually received more than 15 local and international awards. And some of the other excellence services that we provide, other than the smart tunnel as the first of its kind in the world, is also the kids counter. It's another service that we provide at the airport and arrivals. And we also received recognition in the Future Fit recognition for the Smart Command and Control Center. So finally, I'd like to say that the future towards a biometric passenger journey is the success for everyone's efforts. Everyone having one goal, one to achieve, having great leadership, having a good communication with the strategic partners, whether they're the governmental or the private sectors such as Emirates and Dubai airports, and all the government entities that we work with at Dubai airports. And the third thing is having good feedback from passengers as well. Whenever we have like any project or POCs, we always take the feedback from passengers. We also get feedback from passengers communicating with our AMR service as well as on-site feedback. And fourthly, the main success of any project is the work of the team on ground, whether they're in our command center or pre-clearance center, back office, or the officers that are actually available on ground. So one more thing, we actually have 1,800 employees in the airport sector from immigration. So can you imagine, since we implemented the pre-clearance center until today, the number of passengers is the number of officers is the same. So that shows that we've succeeded to keep everything equal, and as well, the contribution with everyone to have successful projects. So hopefully everyone's going to pass through the borderless travel when you're traveling through first and business class. And the upcoming future projects, you're going to see something coming up in arrival as well, and the future in the new airport as well. So thank you very much, and I hope you had a quick journey of our continuous improvements at Dubai airports immigration. So, thank you.